we hope that you guys will join us uh, for both events. Next Monday, I believe is the 29th. Yes, the 29th, we'll be at the Victorian Theater. And then October 6th, we will be celebrating Reverend Sharpton's birthday while honoring a whole bunch of other folks, Pastor Vincent Bohannon, Babyface, Ari Melber, Stephanie Mills, and so many others. So we welcome you and we hope that you guys will join us again. All right.
Thank you, Minister Matthews. Oh, and right before I bring up our legal minds, I just wanted you to meet our New York City coordinator, our national coordinator, Reverend Ron McHenry, will say a few words to you. And then you can bring up Attorney Smelkin, please. Welcome, Reverend Ron McHenry, everyone.
I first want to give thanks to our illustrious leader, the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. If we give him a round of applause for all the work that he does. And we know that he does much, but we also want to give praise and thanks to who's watching us on above, Attorney Michael Hardy, and all the work that he's done for the years. Come on, guys, give it up for him and his family that still watches. This is still part of that legacy, the legal night. And right there, always in the cut, is a woman with red hair. I wonder who we're talking about. Our crisis director, our national crisis director. Come on, give her a hand. All the work that she does, dealing with crisis in and out of season. We're grateful for the work that she does. Today marks the 90th week that we've been fighting outside of the office of Bill Ackman, trying to raise the issue around diversity, equity, and inclusion. Yeah, you can give it that hand, y'all. Come on. People are like, well, why are you out there for 90 weeks? They bank on us getting tired. They say, oh, that's just a phase they go through. They'll be done with those emotions next week. Let them go through that. But we have showed that even in the rain, we're still upset about them rolling back diversity, equity, inclusion programs. And we are on the steps of a billionaire, Bill Ackman. We know that we're not confused. You see, they try to divide us by looking left or looking right, looking at blue versus red or rural versus urban. But we really know this is a fight about the bottom versus the top, about these oligarchs who continue to buy out the system. So we've been fighting for 90 weeks. We're going to continue to fight till we'll see change, going from demonstration to legislation. Please join us as we're out there on the fight every Thursday, 787 11th Avenue. This time, we're going to talk about, we have so much to talk about. We have a mock trial to go through, and I'll put you back into the hands of Attorney Smelkin. Guys, give him a hand. Attorney Smelkin, who is going to lead us through tonight's program.
Good evening, and Trace, thank you for organizing everything, Reverend McHenry, and all members of the National Action Network staff. So, can you hear me back there? We're okay? Okay. Okay. So, the last Thursday of every month, we have legal night. And tonight, Rob Bellinson, another attorney, and myself, Joel Schmelkin, going to be presenting a panel for you in terms of what to expect if you are called for jury selection, jury service. Now, I'll step back a little bit and just tell you a little about Legal Night. Legal Night was a program that Mike Hardy, myself, and a few others had thought about 15 years ago. And it's under the guidance of Reverend Sharpton, with his blessing and his inspirations, his tutelage, so to speak, that we decided that we would come to the community and speak about legal issues, things that are on people's minds. A lot of people don't have access to attorneys, and we do this as a purely pro bono gesture because it's the right thing to do. And Legal Night is set up in 3 parts. The first part is that we will have a presentation. Ordinarily, it would be one attorney would be speaking about various different issues, whether it's civil rights or automobile accidents or medical malpractice or estate planning or housing issues, immigration. But we had a few last minute cancellations. So as we say, the show must go on. And I figured, you know, at the last minute, let me think about what people would be interested in. We all live in the city of New York. We all are subject to being called for jury selection, jury duty. And I thought maybe this would be an interesting little topic. That's the first part. The second part of the program is that you will have a chance to come up to the microphone to ask whatever questions you may have, whatever's on your mind. You want to get up to the microphone and maybe, make a point, make a statement, take a stance on something that you think that people want to hear about. It's your chance to speak your mind. We'll have a little time for that also. Many times people have ideas and you have questions, but you don't want to speak in front of everybody. So the attorneys are usually here to be able to speak with you, and you can speak amongst yourselves during the third part of our program. We leave time for that. Ordinarily, there are 10 or 12 attorneys. Without NAN's support staff, without the people that really make this possible, we stand on their shoulders. And it's because of people like Patrice Perry that puts together such a great program in terms of coordinating, being the crisis director. We thank Patrice so much for all your good help, which you do over the years. Thank you. And I thank Ashley Sharpton. I don't think she's here tonight, but she coordinates everything with Zoom and with our she's on very good. Ashley, thank you really for all the great work that you do. Goldie Harps, I see her. Lisa Goldie Harps in the back. Brenda Dock, Winston Gilchrist, our videographer. Brenda Ricketts, Reverend Ron McHenry. Thank you so much, Reverend. Arthur Robinson, the facilities manager, make sure that everything is run smoothly over here. Dominique Sharpton. JT Trollinger. And Sister Diane Word, I saw her, she's here, I know, she's always here. Of course, Chris Matthews. And one other person that we always mention at Legal Night because she was instrumental in the beginning, in the early days, and spent so much time. Those of us that have been here for a while know who I'm talking about. Maxine Lewis passed away many years ago, but really a friend of NAN and did so much good work for the civil rights and for this organization that we really thank her. Over the years, we've been blessed with judges that have been over here and have come and spoke about issues, bringing things to the forefront. Individuals that before they took the bench had taken time to come over here, and I thank Judge Senria Edwards in Brooklyn. Who was instrumental and did a lot of work before she took the bench, and Judge Michelle Sweeting in New York County, Judge Kim Parker, Judge Tanya Kennedy in the appellate division. We thank all the judges for everything which they've done. Our legal night panel is composed of about 10 or 12 attorneys. There's Rob Bellinson is behind me over here. Woo! Many of the other attorneys, as I said, couldn't make it tonight, but some are on Zoom. Gary Certain, we thank him for all the work he's done. Kyle Evans, Jeff Emden, Ken Gilbert, Carmen Jack Giordano, Pete Gleason, Michael Ross, Royce Russell, myself, Joel Schmelzkin.
That's right.
Eric Seifert, who usually comes on Zoom. He's in Berkeley, California. Wiley Stecklow, one of our initial founding members. Thank him for all the good work he's done. And of course, Michael Hardy that Patrice Perry mentioned, who really, this program is all about him and about his visions. And it's because of him that we're really here
That's
today
right.
and always with that. Those that don't know Mike, I will tell you this, not only was he a close friend, mentor, leader to all of the attorneys on this panel, but I do say that every attorney on this panel
Mhm.
are better attorneys
That's right.
because of the fact that we knew Mike, we
Yeah,
worked with
hard.
Mike, and he was a legend. One of the greatest civil rights attorneys of all time. And I always say that anytime we're going to speak about legal night, we're always going to give him credit because this is his performance. Okay, so one thing which I want everyone to know is that there may come a time when we're going to be speaking one-on-one, and there's a relationship called an attorney-client privilege. But just because you are here, just because you're speaking with an attorney, there's no attorney-client privilege that's established. That's a very important privilege, a very important relationship, like a doctor-patient or a clergyman-penitent, congregant. But we don't have that over here. So because you're here, we want you to understand none of us are your attorneys. Mr. Bellinson, myself, we are not members. We are members, yes, but we are not employees of the National Action Network. We do this because it's the right thing to do. And being over here, we'll try to give you advice, but you understand we don't have the attorney-client privilege that ordinarily attaches when you retain an attorney. Okay, so tonight, as I told you before, we're going to talk a little about jury service. You know, Judge Tingling, who has always been a frequent guest over here at Legal Night, is the jury clerk of New York County, the first African-American jury clerk in New York County, and a wonderful person, a wonderful lawyer, a wonderful judge. And he comes over here and speaks about jury service in general. And one of the things which he has mentioned is that, and I couldn't agree more, it is your civic duty, your obligation. When you get that notice, don't throw it around. Don't try to get out of jury service. You go and you give it your best shot. You don't think about, oh, how can I get out of jury service? You don't do that. Just think, if everybody tried to do that, would we have jurors of our peers? No. And think about if you ever had a case, if you were ever a criminal defendant, or if you were ever a civil litigant. Mr. Bellinson and I represent individuals that are involved in accidents. We handle civil lawsuits. And if you were ever a civil litigant, you wouldn't want people just to try to get out of jury service. These are people that are jurors, members of your community, and a juror of your peers. And if you're going to try to get out of jury service, the whole system is going to go down the tubes. So you don't do that. Okay, before we start with a sample jury selection, I want Mr. Bellinson to introduce himself and to tell you specifically, for example, what you can expect if you get that questionnaire in the mail, if you get the jury summons in the mail, if you're called, up to the point where we'll ask for volunteers and we'll make believe that you are in a room interviewed by the attorneys. And we'll ask you various questions. But before we get to that point, I want Mr. Bellinson again to introduce himself and tell you what you can expect. Okay?
Thanks, Joe.
Good evening,
Good evening.
everyone. Congratulations on being here. It's great to be here with you. How many of you have been jurors before? Show of hands. How many of you have never been called down for jury duty before? Wow. Okay. Those of you who've been jurors before, how many of you have actually deliberated to a verdict? About a half dozen. Did you find it interesting? That's kind of that's what I always ask jurors. Was it interesting? No one wants to be selected, but when you find out you're being called for jury duty, you receive a summons in the mail. So let's pretend that you go to the mailbox and there's a summons. What do I do? Mr. Schmelgen said, don't disregard it. Comply, go down there. One person can make a difference. That's the basis of our justice system. The rest of the world does not have a justice system like we have in America. What does Winston Churchill once said? Democracy is the worst form of government, right? Except for what, Ron? Except for all the others. It's the worst form of government except for all the others. Our justice system is not perfect, but it strives to get it right. And it includes our citizens to be judges, to be citizen judges. So you get a summons in the mail, you go down to 60 Center Street, let's say that's downtown, and you go to the jury room. The clerk will check you in and you sit and a lot of sitting around and waiting.
Yep.
But first you see a movie kind of describing what the process is like. Those of us who've seen movies before, it's not like that. It's not entertainment. It's information. And it's useful. Useful. You learn about what your job is, what you should and shouldn't do on jury duty. And then, and this is what we're going to simulate today, they usually call 30 people into a room. And you sit in a room and it's awkward. You're sitting there and you're quiet. And then lawyers come in and we're dressed in suits, which I take off as soon as I leave the courthouse. I'm like Superman. I'm changing out of my suit, putting on my shorts and a t-shirt. But lawyers come in and we introduce ourselves. We tell you a little bit about what the case that we're here for is about. And a lot of times you don't get along. There's usually not a judge who's presiding over jury duty. It's usually the lawyers, and you'll see Mr. Schmelken and I do this today. And it's the lawyers kind of cooperating together, even if you don't like him or her. I can tell you stories. I've had adversaries who I couldn't stand. Rude, nasty, every name in the book, but I respect the process and I treat this like the profession that it is. And the word is polite and courteous. And that's what I think jurors want to see. They don't want to see lawyers fighting with each other or bickering or arguing with each other. So if we have a disagreement, what you'll see is the lawyers will say, "Excuse us, please. We're not going to fight in front of you." We can go outside and discuss it. And in rare cases, we may bring the judge in, have a judge come in and make a ruling as to whether you can or cannot say something. But if you've been doing this a while, like we have, you kind of know what you can and what you cannot say and do. You're not there. I'm not there to try my case in the jury room. I'm there to learn about jurors in a hurry and to see whether we can get 6 jurors or 8 jurors or 9 jurors who can be fair and impartial. That's the standard. I want jurors who are going to love me, who are going to love my client, but that wouldn't be fair to the other side. So as a result, we seek out those who say they can be fair and impartial. And everyone's got a story, and sometimes jurors tell you that there's a reason they can't serve, whatever it is. I was on trial this past summer in the end of July. You want to see an exercise in frustration, try talking to 60 jurors the end of July. No one wants to be there. But somehow we cobbled together a group of 8 jurors or 9 jurors, and we were able to start the process going. Now, a lot of times in the civil justice world, the world that Mr. Schmelken and I work in, a lot of times after jury selection, the parties get more realistic and cases settle a lot more frequently. Why? Because of the willingness of jurors to serve and the willingness of jurors to make a decision that may not be in my client's interest, may not be in the other side's interest, and that scares both sides into compromising. Compromise is not a dirty word. I know it's looked upon with some disfavor these days, but that's the magic sauce that makes our democracy work. We have representatives and senators from all over the country, from rural, from urban areas, and we all have to work together. Isn't that a beautiful metaphor? We all have to work together, and it's the same way in the courtroom. So after we finish jury selection, after we finish talking to the jurors, the lawyers usually go into a side room and then we talk about you. I don't mean talk about you. I mean discuss which jurors we're going to keep and which jurors we're going to dismiss.
Right, that was good.
And there's really no rhyme or reason. It's not like there's no one thing I can tell you that any lawyer's going to hang their hat on. It's a process. And what I'm looking for people who are going to take this process seriously and who are going to treat my client and the other clients like they would want to be treated if they had a case. That's empathy. That's empathy. That's what I'm looking for in jury service. So then we come in and tell you the good news, and I gotta tell you this, I've been doing this a long time. I have over 100 verdicts in court. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
I've never once had a juror go, yes, I got selected, I got picked. Doesn't happen. But most of the time, what happens is they say, okay, I got picked, it's gonna interrupt my life. But you know what? I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to do my civic duty, and that's about all I can ask. Now, about 20 years ago, they changed the law. Used to be that there were exemptions for reverends, for nurses, for teachers, for almost every profession was exempted.
Mhm.
Lawyers were exempted. No more. I got picked. I served in 2004. I got picked here in Manhattan. I was living downtown. I got picked I said, who's going to pick me? I'm a trial lawyer. Wrong. I got picked for a 3-week trial back when a 3-week trial was a long time. Now it's commonplace, a 3-week trial. And I got to say, it was one of the most informative experiences I ever had. And I'm glad I did it. And I like to think I made a difference. I helped make a difference in a person's life, the parties who were involved in this lawsuit. So that's the big picture about jury selection and jury service. And I think without further ado, we're going to start demonstrating our little mock trial, if that's okay. We're going to pick 8 jurors, 10 jurors. What are you going to do? Well, we're going to select ultimately.
Maurice Thomas.
We're going to put 8. We're going to pick 8 jurors. Usually is a wheel that you spin, and we're looking for volunteers. Juror number 1, come on down. This man is well dressed. This is what I like to see.
He actually he just became an attorney.
Oh, very good. Awesome.
He's one of our
Counselor?
members.
Come on down. Seat number 1. Congratulations.
Thomas Coswell. Yeah.
Seat number 2. Congratulations or condolences.
Come on up. Come on up.
Seat number 3. Congratulations, condolences. Good evening.
Okay, we need 6 more people.
Let's do 4 more.
Reverend Ron got you.
Do 8 altogether. Come on back.
He said do 2 more, Ron, 2 more.
You can sit in the front. You can sit if you want. Yeah.
All right, come on, y'all looking good.
Love that shirt. Of course I talk. Who else can I trust? I love that. Come on down.
Love it.
Right.
He said 8, they want 8.
That's
it. I think we're good.
That's it. I'm gonna wing it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And 1 more. Yes.
We good. All right,
2
Minnie.
more. All right. We got wonderful.
You want
Wonderful. So this is how it works. We select, it's called 9 in the box.
Okay.
Pretend this is a jury box. Use your imagination a little bit. And then what you're gonna see is the lawyers, usually there's a questionnaire you fill out. I forgot to mention that. There's a questionnaire that has information about where you live, what your education is, what your background is. Have you ever been a juror before? Do you or someone you know ever been involved in a lawsuit? Been sued before? Sued someone before? You know anyone who's ever been a victim of a crime? And in New York, I'm sure there's no such thing as no one. Everyone knows someone who's whatever. We have a diverse group, and that's what we're looking for in jury selection. And then when we get started, Mr. Schmelkin's going to play the role of the plaintiff's lawyer, the person who's bringing the lawsuit. And I'm going to play the role, as much as I hate to do it today, of the defense lawyer, insurance company lawyer. But this is really just for demonstration purposes. And we're going to show you how it works.
That's right.
And again, the best thing I can advise you is do this job. It's rewarding. You're making a difference in people's lives. That's what we're here to do. That's what we're here on earth to do, make a difference. So, Mr. Schmelkin, take us away, sir.
Okay. Now, ordinarily, we would have a box with your cards and we'd have all your names. So why don't we do this? Sir, what's your first name? Just give me a first name. Maurice? Maurice. And now I know we have Tom after that. Rachel? Shikari? Sir, the Yankee hat? I see we're, both members of the same team. Very good. Go ahead. Great game last night, huh? Okay. Go ahead. Take my word for it. Very
That was
great game.
good.
What's your name, sir? James. Okay, James.
Minnie.
I'm sorry? Minnie.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Alfred.
Alfred.
I like red. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Benjamin.
Benjamin. Ben.
That's
And you're an
Anthony.
Anthony. Ernestine.
All right. Come on, Jerry.
Okay. All right. So ordinarily, we would pick 6 jurors and 2 alternates. We're going to try to do an abbreviated version over here. We're going to show you what it is that you can expect if you're in that little room. Okay? But what we'll do is we're going to try to pick now just 3 jurors and 1 alternate juror. And we'll try to show you, we're going to go through this quickly in terms of what you can expect if you were called. Okay? So first, the plaintiff's attorney, and I'm the plaintiff's attorney here, will introduce himself and tell you a little about what the allegations are in this particular case. Okay, so I would start as follows. Good morning, members of the jury or potential jurors. My name is Joel Schmelkin, and I am an attorney. My office is here in Manhattan for many years, and we represent an individual by the name of Johnny Brown, a 12-year-old youngster. And I'm going to tell you a little about what my claims are, what my allegations are, because we're here to pick, and I would say 6 jurors and 2 alternates, but today it's going to be 3 jurors and 1 alternate, to hear the facts, to determine what the facts are, to hear what the law is, and the judge is going to instruct you as to the law, and come to your decision, your verdict. And I always say that we want your decision to be the right decision for the right reason. Can everybody here give me that commitment that your decision will be the right decision for the right reason? Can you do that? Okay. Now, when we have jury selection, there are many things that are in agreement, many things that are not in agreement. So my adversary, Mr. Bellinson, and I are in agreement of the following: that this is an incident which took place regarding Johnny Brown. Johnny was 10 years old. He lives with his family on 143rd Street in between Lenox Avenue and Adam Clayton Powell Boulevard. And a little over a year ago, August 30th, 2014, at about 6:30 in the evening, he's on the sidewalk and he's playing with a ball. And he's bouncing the ball and he's catching the ball. And then what happens is he doesn't catch the ball, but it goes right through his legs, in between 2 cars parked on 143rd Street, and he runs to pick up that ball. And lo and behold, after running to pick up that ball, he gets hit by a car. He falls to the ground. The police come, the ambulance come, and take him to Harlem Hospital, where he's admitted for 2 days. He had a bad fracture of the leg, requiring surgery. And you're going to hear doctors testify with respect to what type of surgery this is. And his mother, Mary Brown, we're also suing on her behalf, because our theory is that as a result of Johnny being injured, there are some things that he can no longer do. And Mary, his mother, is suffering. Johnny would go to the laundromat. He would pick up his little sister at school. He would help out around the house. He can't do that anymore, so his mother is injured too. Now, Maurice, what's your occupation? What kind of work do you do? Okay, and for how long have you been doing that? Okay, and do you drive a motor vehicle? Okay, had you ever been involved in an accident? Okay, have you ever been involved in a lawsuit? Have you ever been a plaintiff? Have you been a defendant?
Yes.
Okay, have you been sued or did you sue?
Have been sued and have.
Okay, so you've been on both sides. Is there anything about that experience that's going to be difficult for you to sit as a juror in this case? No, you can be objective. You can be fair and impartial. Okay. You read any newspapers on a regular basis?
Yeah.
What papers do you like to read?
The New York Google newspapers, CNN newspapers.
Any professional drivers in your family? Yes, like a cab driver, a bus driver, a truck driver? No professional drivers. Had you ever sat as a juror before?
No.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, Rachel, how are you? Okay. Are you employed? What kind of work do you do? Real estate broker, okay. Have you ever been involved in an accident? All right, were you injured yourself or were you sued? You were injured, okay. And were you satisfied with the result? Okay. Anything about that would sway you one way or another if you were sitting on this juror? No? Okay.
Yeah, it's not better. Thank you, Dave. It's better. Mhm.
Hello, James. How are you? Okay, so you see, I don't like to go one by one. I want people to
No,
jump
that's good. I
around,
like
right?
that.
So you never know.
This microphone can't jump around.
The
like
microphone
that.
can't jump around. Okay. James, are you employed?
Not at this moment, I'm not.
Oh, are you retired?
Sort of.
Okay, what are some of the things you used to like to do? Have hobbies, things you like to do in spare time?
Not really, I don't have any hard,
Oh, okay. Are you married, single?
I am,
Okay. Any children?
I do.
Okay. How about your kids? What do they do?
What are they doing?
What are they doing? Are they employed or do they work? Any grandchildren?
Well, I have grandkids, my grandkids is going to school,
Okay. All right.
a lot of sports.
And how long have you lived in Manhattan?
4 years.
Okay. And had you ever been a juror before?
I haven't.
All right. And any professional drivers in your house, in your household, family members?
My wife,
What does she do?
drives bus,
For transit, New York City Transit?
not from.
Another state, okay. But a public transportation,
Right now.
okay, but she used to, okay. Okay. How are you, Alfred?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Alfred, had you ever been a juror before?
No,
Okay. Any family members, jurors?
not that I can recall.
Okay. Had you ever been involved in a lawsuit?
Yes,
Okay. What type of case was that?
it was brief. I was a operator of a motor vehicle and had contact with a pedestrian, but it never went any further.
Okay. Were you sued or a claim against you?
There was an attempted, but it didn't go anywhere.
Okay. Now, if you were chosen on this jury and you thought my client was entitled to a substantial amount of money, could you award that to him?
If I saw a reason, I would definitely award a
Okay.
substantial amount.
Okay. And by the way, does anybody here own any stock or a worker or have an interest in any liability insurance company? Anybody over here? I'm going to ask that question to the group. No one? All right. By the way, let me just go off script for a minute.
Feels like a bad date.
The reason why we say this is we're not allowed to talk about insurance, but you are allowed to mention once to the panel if anybody here had ever worked for an insurance company, has an interest in insurance company, owns stock in a liability insurance company. So most attorneys ask that question at a certain time. We'll talk about that later on. Okay. All right, sir. Thank you very much, Alfred. Okay. And Ernestine, how are you? Okay. Are you employed?
I'm retired.
Retired. You're too young to retire. What kind of work were you doing?
I was an executive assistant at Price Waterhouse.
Okay, an accounting firm.
Yes.
Okay. And how long did you work there for?
For about 12 years.
12 years. Okay. You have any feelings about lawsuits in general? One way or another?
No.
Okay. And have you ever served as a juror?
No, I have been called, but never served.
Never served. Okay. And Ben, how are you?
Okay.
Had you ever been involved in a lawsuit?
No.
No. Any family members or friends involved in lawsuits?
No.
Not that you mentioned right now. Okay. Any professional drivers in your family?
Person drivers?
Yes, bus driver, cab driver.
Me.
Okay. What kind of, did you drive a bus, a cab, a
Truck.
truck? Okay.
No.
No accidents at all?
Yeah.
All right. Ever been sued? Company ever been sued?
Well,
Not that you recall right now.
I wasn't called for any of this.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. Minnie, how are you? Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you for asking. Now, have you ever been a juror before?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What kind of case was that?
A murder case.
Okay, criminal case. Now, you understand the judge is going to tell you that what is involved in a criminal case is different than a civil case. You've heard a few things that I've mentioned before, my allegations, and certainly that's not evidence. Evidence is going to be what you hear in the courtroom. But you see what we've agreed to, what we've stipulated to about what type of case that is. And you understand that being in this case, what you were told in the criminal case is a different ballgame, different rules. You understand that, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, Chikari, how are you? Okay, fine, thank you, fine. What about professional drivers? Any professional drivers in your family?
I once was, I have my own business.
Okay, what, cab, truck?
Truck.
Truck, okay. And, ever been involved in an accident?
No.
Okay, great. All right. Anything so far that you've heard, steers you one way or another about this particular case? No? Okay, that's fine. All right. How are you, Tom?
I'm well.
Good, okay. Have you been a juror before?
No, sir.
Not at all? Okay, what about any family members or friends?
No.
All right, and what kind of work do you do?
Retired clinician,
What were you doing?
substance abuse.
Okay. All right. Well, I thank everybody here for your time. And you're going to hear from Mr. Bellinson, and he's going to tell you a little about what his allegations are. And we will get back to you shortly. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give a hand. Before I put on my hat as the defense lawyer, let me explain a couple of things that Mr. Schmelken did that's masterful, masterful. You want to have a connection with the jurors. You want to find things like Yankee fan. I love the Yankees. I watched them last night. You didn't quite cooperate with that, but that's okay. But that's what we're always trying to do is find a connection. Why? I don't know. It just makes it easier and it just makes it more of a human endeavor. So I'm Robert Bellinson. I represent the defendant, the person being sued. Does anyone think that just because someone brings a lawsuit that there's necessarily merit to it? By a show of hands. Does anyone think, well, there must be something here. He's being sued. Okay, good, because nothing has been proven yet. These are allegations. What Mr. Schmelken didn't tell you is that he's seeking money from my client. My client. That's what we're here in court for. In a civil lawsuit, the only remedy is money damages. And let me say something else. We're not here for sympathy. Poor little Johnny Brown got hit by a car. Our position is that this was a sudden dart out in the street, that my client was not negligent. He was paying attention. And then when he saw this little boy in the roadway, he did everything he could to stop. Now, we have a dispute. We can't resolve it. That's why we're asking you jurors to be the judges of the facts. Our position is that my client was not negligent. And if he was negligent, his negligence wasn't an important factor in causing the accident. Unfortunately, little Johnny Brown's negligence was the reason for this accident. Is everyone okay judging the facts here without sympathy? without relying on sympathy. Everyone okay with that by show of hands? Can everyone treat my client like you'd want to be treated if you had a case? By that, I don't mean win or lose automatically. I mean, judge the facts here. Listen to both sides. What's reasonable? What makes sense? Is everyone okay with that?
Yes.
We're going to be here for approximately 5 to 7 trial days. Is everyone okay being here? Because that's the schedule. We have to have doctors come in and other witnesses come in and maybe a police officer come in. Is everyone okay committing to that schedule?
No, not me, I'm gonna go.
Oh, okay, sir. We'll talk to you privately. We'll talk to you privately.
That was good.
That's great. I love
That
that.
was
Phil,
good.
can I have the sheet with the names on there? I didn't come prepared. So that's,
Albert,
Alfred.
Alfred.
Alfred, your excuse. No, I'm just kidding. We're not gonna get there yet. I would just, because a good lawyer like Mr. Schmelkin is gonna ask a lot of the same questions that I would ask. A smart lawyer is gonna preempt me and say things like, can you put aside sympathy and just decide this based on the evidence? I'm gonna ask some follow-up questions. And I like the fact that I have jurors here, potential jurors, who were drivers before, who were involved in driving commercially. Your wife's a driver. You were sued as a defendant. That's useful for me because you're going to identify more so with my client who's being sued for something that he says wasn't his fault. So I just go around the room and follow up, sir. Just because there's an accident, you'd agree that doesn't necessarily mean that my client was negligent, right? You agree with that? You agree what, that he was negligent or wasn't?
I agree with just because there was an accident, that doesn't necessarily imply that it was.
If you find, Mr. Schmelkin asked if you can award substantial money damages. If you find that the injuries aren't substantial enough, can you award no money damages?
If I find that the injuries are not substantial and don't warrant any money damages, then I could award no money damages.
Okay, as you sit here right now, do you have an opinion already? Have you formed an opinion in your mind as to who should win this case?
No.
Good. Because you haven't heard what?
Yeah.
The evidence. Everyone hear that? The evidence, exactly. Must be a lawyer. Congratulations. I know. Congratulations. Lawyer,
is.
ladies and gentlemen, give it up for our, congratulations. Now, if this was real jury service and I was calling out a juror and giving him props for being a lawyer, I'd be, you'd be excused and I'd be taken to the judge and yelled at for stop buttering up the jury. But, all right, thank you very much. Is
That
it,
was good.
thank you. Any questions for me?
No.
All right, thank you. Is it Tom? How are you, sir? Never been a juror before?
No, sir.
Any feelings one way or the other about lawsuits or litigation or accident cases?
No.
All right. Do you know who should win this case?
Oh, man, I tell you,
Please tell me.
I tell you, I guess you want me to be truthful.
I want you to be honest. I want you to be honest.
I feel like the child is negligent for running in front of the car.
Uh-oh.
But I would like the child to be compensated.
Fairly compensated,
fairly
yeah.
Compensated.
So
If it's gonna affect.
a lot of jury selection, a lot of jury service is listening really carefully. And I would say, thank you for your honesty.
Thank you.
No, really, thank you for your honesty. I kind of want jurors to be honest, but sometimes you can be too honest. What you're doing is no, there's nothing wrong with that. You're being honest, but you're showing that you're leaning one way or the other when you really shouldn't. You know, we don't know the facts yet. Maybe he didn't dart out. Maybe he was, looked carefully and the defendant driver was driving like a bat. We don't know. We don't know. So that's why I ask about things like sympathy and I thank you for your candor, Tom. Any questions for me?
No, sir.
All right. Is it Rachel? How are you? Good. Do you know who should win this lawsuit yet, Rachel? You haven't heard the evidence, right? If you find that my client was negligent and that the negligence contributed to this accident, can you award fair compensation to little? Yeah, me too. Me too. Me too. Me too. That's why I hate, Joel got the good job here being the plaintiff, little Johnny Brown, a poor kid playing ball in the street. What's more wholesome than that? And I'm the evil defense, but whatever, that's neither here nor there. The fact is, I admire my colleagues on the defense side because they have a job to do as well, and it works. The way it works best is when everyone's doing the best they can for their clients. That's the way it goes, but, all right, yeah, I don't think, but if you did, I'd be like, shh, keep that between us. No, but any questions for me? All right, thank you very much. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thanks for asking.
What is your name?
Shikari.
Shikari, that's what I thought. I can't read your handwriting, counselor. What are you doing? I should take my own notes. I didn't come prepared for jury selection. The judge just told us to go pick. Shikari, you've been a driver professionally?
Yes.
And have you ever had a situation where you felt like, someone did something and you had an accident that you weren't responsible for?
I have.
And do you feel like you should be allowed to present your case in defense if you're sued?
I've never been that predicament.
Right, but if you're ever unlucky enough to be sued, and by the way, there's no fun being named in a lawsuit. I've been there and it sucks, but if that happens, you'd want your chance to have your day in court, right?
That's right.
And you'd want the chance to have the case decided based on the evidence and based on law, right?
That's right.
See what I'm doing? I'm indoctrinating the jury to give my client a fair shake. Just because, he hit a kid doesn't mean he's a bad guy or did something wrong necessarily, although he probably is, but. All right, thanks very much for your time, sir. I appreciate your time. Thank you. Is it James? Is that right? Your wife is a professional bus driver?
That is correct.
Does she ever tell you stories from, the road and what happened at work today?
Well, all kinds of stories.
Yeah, that's good for me, bad for the plaintiff, because if you're hearing your wife talk about how crazy the drivers are out there and how crazy kids are, you have a certain worldview. You see the world a certain way. Have you ever been sued before, sir?
No, I have not.
Okay, consider yourself lucky. Can you decide this lawsuit based on the evidence and based on the law?
Yes, I can.
Beautiful. Any questions for me?
No.
All right, thank you very much. Minnie,
That's correct.
how are you?
Fine, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. I'm doing well. I've questioned 5 other jurors before. Same questions for you. Can you treat my client fairly just because he had an accident and hit a kid?
I think that's possible, with evidence and facts.
When you say you think that's possible, and I mean, this is an important part of jury selection. And the example, what do we lawyers do? The example is, you get on a plane and you say to the pilot, are we gonna make it to Chicago? And he says, I think so. I hope so. I think I could be fair. I think we're gonna get there safely. You want a little more assurance than that. So I'd probably follow up with you. I'd probably go outside, talk to you privately, because, not everyone's comfortable speaking in a room full of 30 people. And, I really need to learn. We, the lawyers, need to learn a lot about jurors in a short period of time. We're not going to get to know you any better than you know yourself, and you're not going to tell us verbatim what you think. But when you use code words like I think so, or I'll try, that's an invitation to go further. So thank you for sharing that with us. Any questions for me?
What would disqualify me from being a juror?
If you evidenced either a bias or an inclination to be leaning one way or the other. The example we give is, see this line here? Are we both starting at the same starting line at the start of the trial? Or is one side a little bit ahead because of what you heard here? And the good lawyers, we try and mitigate that and try and show that, we're all starting off with the same starting line, but that's really what you'd say to be disqualified. So, did that answer your question? All right, thank you, Minnie. Appreciate it. All right, we're up to Alfred. Alfred. All right. How are you, sir?
Good, so, and you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for asking. Very few people ask that of the poor lawyers. Don't worry about us, we're fine. Do you want to be a juror here, Alfred?
Sure,
Why?
civic duties.
There you go. That's
you
the
go.
answer. When I say why, that's the answer I'm looking for. I want people who feel like they want to make a difference, not that they have an axe to grind against one side or the other, but they want to make a difference in someone's life. And can you do that here? Judge the facts?
Yes, absolutely.
Now, did you say that you were a professional driver as well?
I didn't say, but I am. I'm a CDL holder.
Oh, okay. So you have a commercial driver's license. Everyone knows CDL, commercial driver's license. Have you ever had the misfortune to have a kid dart out in traffic suddenly, unexpectedly?
No, I've never had an experience.
Do you see what I'm doing, by the way? I'm using these words suddenly, unexpectedly, because that's one of the things the judge is going to charge the jury, tell the jury about the law. I can't tell what the law is, but I'm going to use those words to kind of plant the idea of my defense in your mind. And the fact that you're a commercial driver and that your wife is a commercial driver and someone's had a lawsuit before, these are all good things for my side. Any questions for me?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you. Is it Ben?
Good.
How are you?
Good.
Good. I'm just walking over here so I always try and get as close as I can because I really want to hear you and see you and pay attention to what you're saying and what you're not saying. Not just you, but everyone, all the jurors. Can you be a juror here? Can you be fair and impartial to both sides?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you know who should win this case yet?
No.
How are you going to decide the case?
Yeah.
Listen both sides, give my client a fair shake. If you find that the plaintiff who has the burden of proving the case, if you find that they haven't proven the case, even if you like little Johnny Jones, is it Johnny Jones? Johnny Brown.
Listening, I love it.
Perfect defense lawyer, like, I don't care about the names of the people, but.
Just gotta smile with it.
Right. If you find that little Johnny Brown hasn't proven the case, even if you like him or feel sorry for him, can you send him home and say, I'm sorry, there's no negligence, or you're not entitled to damages from my client? You okay with that? Could be. That's up there with the
Honest
pilot, like,
answer.
are we gonna get there safely? Could be, I don't know,
I'm going to look for those.
Exactly right. So it's hard. Look, this is a tough fact pattern. This is a fact pattern where you got a poor kid on one side and a guy driving on the other side. Sometimes it's a little bit of closer call. And so I would explore that a little bit more with you, and I try and get your commitment that you're going to wait until the end till you hear all the evidence to make your decision. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, yes.
Any questions for me?
No, not really.
Ernestine? Good afternoon, good morning. By now, it's like evening for jury selection. I'm exhausted. We've talked to 30 jurors, and what am I gonna ask you that I haven't asked the first 29 jurors? What's your favorite color? I'm just joking, of course, like that has no relevance or bearing whatsoever on your ability to be a juror here. But can you do this job? Can you judge the facts here and decide this case based on the evidence
Absolutely,
and the law? Do
absolutely.
you know who should win this case now?
Not yet.
Good. And wait till the end to decide who wins.
That's how it goes.
Listen to the judge. The judge is going to tell you the law. You have to follow it. Are you okay with that?
Yeah,
Sometimes we forget to say that, but the judge is the judge of the law. You jurors are the judges of the facts. Was there negligence? Was the other side negligent? And then what are the damages? What are the money damages? Because of time here, we're going really quickly, but if we were trying a real case, Mr. Schmelken would develop the injuries a little bit more and talk about pain, suffering, and the loss of enjoyment of life. And you think it's fair to award money damages to someone who's been injured? Okay. Any questions for me?
No.
All right, Your Honor. I think, yeah. Oh, you want it? Okay.
You know, after, plaintiff always asks questions first, and then afterwards, many times, I'm gonna hear certain things from certain jurors that I want to explore a little bit. And as Rob indicated, sort of maybe indoctrinate the panel or just understand so that there's no misinformation. Now, Mr. Carswell, I know your name, okay. You indicated something before about the child running out between the cars, and maybe it was his fault. Let me ask you a question. Let's assume that I'm standing in this wall, and I have a ball in my hand, and I take the ball and I roll it. And as the ball is moving and moving and moving, a little steam is running out of steam. And then once it comes just to you, or to our future lawyer right next to you, the future lawyer comes and he kicks that ball with his hand, and then the ball hits the other wall. Now, if I was to ask you a question, why did that ball go from one wall to the other wall? Is it because that I put it in motion? Is it because that our future lawyer gave it a tap? Or is it some other reason or some combination of the two? What would you say? Would you agree that the reason that the ball went from one place to the other place was because I put it in motion and this gentleman over here gave it another tap when it was running out of steam, and then that ball hit the wall? Would it be a combination of the two? Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah, that was the case.
Would you agree that the reason that ball went from one wall to the other was not only because of what I did, because of what your neighbor did? You'd agree with that?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. See, that's what we call comparative negligence and two forces having something to do with it. You see, a defendant is going to want to say that it's all little Johnny's fault. And because it's his fault, he gets nothing. Zilch. But if I'm driving a car, and by the way, what do I want as a plaintiff? I want young mothers with kids that don't have driver's licenses in New York City. Why? Because, look, we all drive in New York City. And, you know, as they say, but for the grace of God, go I. This could happen to anybody. How many of us are drivers and, you know, you got a close call. It can happen to anybody. So as a juror, look, reasonable minds can differ. I want young mothers with kids, with young kids. Rob Bellinson doesn't want that, you see, as a defendant. But that's what I want. That's what he doesn't want. All right, next. And you know, and you see little fights between lawyers also sometimes too. Now, also, Mr. Bellinson is indicating that, well, it's a lawsuit for money. You know, Johnny and his mother want to take away money from his client, the big bad, you know, driver, whatever. Would you agree? That's all we can do, right? Now, let me ask you a question. Let's assume that how many people over here have ever, you know, played cards, played blackjack, played 21? Raise your hand. Okay. All right. We all do sometimes. Let me give you an illustration. You're in a casino. You're out in Las Vegas. You're at a table and you lose a hand. You lose $20. You lose $40. You lose $60. You lose $80. You lose $100 and you're annoyed. And you get up and you say, I'm leaving. So you walk across the street and you go into another casino. And then at that point, guess what? You start to win. You win 20, you win 40, you win 60, you win 80, you win $100. And once I won $100, at that point, Mr. Bellinson comes in, pats me on the back, and he says, "Hey, you just won $100. That's great. Congratulations." Question: did I really win $100, or was I just put back in the position that I would have been in had I never played cards to begin with? Am I right?
That's good.
Okay, so this lawsuit is not to make Johnny and his mother rich, as this man wants him to believe. It's just to put him back in the position that he should have been in had his big bad client didn't hit him with a car. Remember,
Right.
where there's smoke, there's fire. Where you're in a residential neighborhood, you see a ball coming between two parked cars. What's at the other end of the ball? That's right. So this is what attorneys do when they give analogies and examples, because, as I said, reasonable minds can differ. I want a certain type of juror. He wants another type of juror. So after this, what we would do is we would go amongst ourselves. We would speak and we would say, "Mr. Carswell, you're excused. Ben, you're excused. James, you're excused, whatever. Thank you very much. We can't excuse you from jury duty, but you go back to the clerk. You put your card in another raffle, and then you got to go speak to other attorneys. And you stick around from room to room to room, and then you get to know who the attorneys are in New York County, whatever. So that's what jury selection is about. Anybody have further questions? Anyone?
Excellent analogy, by the way.
Thank you.
What an excellent, so if we had time, of course, Joel would have handled the money thing right directly in front. As a plaintiff, I always do that. Anyone can bring a lawsuit, and if you think this is a phony baloney case, you have the right and the obligation to throw us out of court. But money damages are the only remedy in a civil lawsuit, period. That's the way it is. But the analogy of the casino, I've never heard that before. That's a great analogy. And the idea of the civil justice system is to make you whole, to put you back to where you were before. That's all we can do. That's why I say it's not perfect, but it's better than nothing.
That's right.
So now what we do is, we're not going to convince each other while we're doing jury selection. We'd go in the room, we'd kind of talk about it, and then if we couldn't agree, and usually you agree, if a person says the magic words, like Mr. Carswell says, I want to see the kid get money, even if I thought he was at fault. I'd appreciate that, but I'd say, Judge, he's evidenced a bias, and he can't be fair and impartial. And then a judge would come in, and everyone gets nervous when the judge comes in, but I just make sure you repeat the same thing for the judge, and then typically the judge would say, "All right, we'll strike you and select a different juror who doesn't indicate that they're leaning one way or the other." But that's what we would do, and then we do our selection, and then we come back and tell you the good news or the bad news as to who's selected and who's not selected.
Do you normally write down whose name or that is just?
No.
Some people do. I always do. I have this. Can you show them see the pad here? There are boxes, and I write down everyone's name, what their ages, where they live. If it's a premises case, I want to know, do they rent their home? Do they own their home? If it's a driving case, if it's a car accident, I want to know, do they drive? Have they been a plaintiff before? Have they been sued before? These are things that these are tells to me. And then in the process, I put down checks if I like you. If I really like you, I put down 2 or 3 checks like I do for Ernestine or for Jane, whoever. So that's the way, but everyone does it differently. Everyone does it differently.
Let me ask you a question here, because Rob mentioned about the premises. Do you own, do you rent? Let's assume, for instance, right now, that I'm representing somebody that tripped in the lobby of the building because there was a missing tile. Okay, now, do I want jurors that are tenants, or do I want jurors that own their apartments or own houses? How many people think that I, as a plaintiff that I'm suing, want tenants? Raise your hand if you think I want tenants. Okay. How many people think that if I'm a plaintiff and I'm suing a landlord, that I want landlords? No, we don't want landlords. We don't want landlords.
Why is that? Yeah.
Sometimes they cycle tenants that you think
Spoken like a true landlord.
Okay, like a true landlord, that's right. Okay,
Exactly.
but the point is that if you're a plaintiff and you're injured in a building, your attorney is going to want jurors that are tenants, that can relate to you, that can relate to what you're going through and so on. And they don't want landlords who are interested in their insurance, interested in making sure that they are shielded from their own wrongdoing. So we don't like landlords. That's why we don't like cases in Staten Island or Westchester County. Plaintiffs' attorneys like to bring cases, for the most part, in the Bronx and Brooklyn. Manhattan to a lesser extent. Manhattan's changed, but those are the favored counties that you'll speak with any plaintiff's attorney in the city. They will tell you those things.
All right. So if you'll excuse us, take a 5-minute break while Mr. Schmelken and I go back and talk about you and figure out who we're going to be selecting. We'll be right back. And thank you guys. Thanks for participating. Thank you guys very much. Thank you.
That was good. I like that you have the bag.
Thank you.
I like
Thanks
that.
so
That's
much.
good.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That was good.
Congratulations.
That's good.
Congratulations. When you take the bar?
I took the bar, of course, the bar. You passed, you just have to finish the.
He's a new member. He just passed the bar. Maurice.
We didn't have that. No problem.
He has to do his
Thank
hours
you.
or something.
Congratulations.
He just passed it.
Give me my card. Let's keep in touch.
Maurice.
Love seeing you.
That's Attorney Royce Russell.
There you go. Thank you so much. In touch, all right?
We'll do. All right.
And not just
Be
the
proud of
selection.
him. He did well. Thank you. Not yet. Oh, we'll give it to you. We'll get it. Hey, sis, I'll get it to you.
So, we've
Yes, sir.
agreed, after talking to you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we've agreed to settle our case. And we're not going to be needing jurors anymore, so we're not going to select anyone. I thought you were all great though. And really, it was a really good example of what it's like and how lawyers use subtle persuasion to try to tell you what the case is about without getting you to commit to a particular side. So thank you guys very much. I hope it was interesting for you. What do you want to do now? You want to do questions? Dan? Okay. Thank you, guys.
Okay, and you know, one other thing I want to mention, because what Rob indicated is true. Many times after jury selection, I may get a jury that I think is going to be great for me or vice versa, whatever, and the parties are going to get together and maybe settle the case right then and there. And I've had a situation where jurors get annoyed at that point. They said, hey, I came here, I wasted 2 days of my time, and you guys settled the case. And they're annoyed. And you know what I say in response to that? I say, look, let me tell you something. If it wasn't for you, you guys brought the fear of God into all of us over here. We had to reevaluate our positions. If it wasn't for you guys and being over there and making me think twice about my case and my adversary thinking twice about his case, we wouldn't have settled the case. So just the fact that you were there does everything. Okay?
That's
All right.
good.
Thank you. Thanks again, everyone. All right. So now we're going to go into the second part of the program. Yes, sir. You have a question?
Where is he?
You're part of the jury and you said, now that the jury, they consider deserved and they.
Yes, you still get paid, by the way, if that's your question. You do. That's okay also.
Did you go back?
No, good question. Very good question.
Mhm.
Once you are selected on the jury, and what'll happen is you'll be sworn in. Thereafter, the case settles. They're going to give you your certificate, and I think it's 4 years that you're basically
That's
don't
good.
have to, is it 4 years, I think, that you're exempt and you won't be called again. But yes, that is a good question, that because it's settled right there, as long as you were sworn in at that point, you're done. You're done. But many times you may be excused, and when you are excused, because you say you can't be fair and impartial, you might have had something, then what'll happen is that the attorney can't excuse you from jury duty, but they can excuse you from that particular case. You go back to the clerk and your card will be put in the bin and you'll be chosen again. All right.
No.
Mr. Russell is another member of our legal night team.
Come on, guys.
He's been with us for many years.
Many.
He's always contributed a lot, and it's always great to have him over here.
Always.
Thanks.
Attorney Seaford is online.
Well, he'll introduce himself and what he does and
That's right.
how he can help the community.
They always make me speak. Royce Russell, been with Legal Night, I think over 10
That's
years
right.
now,
More
right?
than that.
More than that. I'm glad to see people are still coming out. Over the years, we have grown, and this is one of the ways that we have grown. We
That's
start to
right.
get more participation rather than
Mhm.
just giving a lecture and answering questions.
That's right.
And hopefully tonight was something that you'll remember. And hopefully these guys went through the first prong of anybody that's a juror, which is having the attorney be able to relate to jurors
Mhm.
and have the understanding that most jurors don't want to be jurors. Everybody's ducking jury duty. So that's the first thing that you have to recognize
That's true.
when you're doing a voir dire. I know you don't want to be here, but you gotta be here.
Right.
So while we're here, let's discuss what's going on. And I think the main objective when it comes down to picking a jury is, at least from my experience, and I've been practicing now 40 years, so but at least from my experience is that they have to see some commonality, right? And if you can see some commonality in the person that's telling the story, then you might believe the story.
Mm.
When you don't see that commonality, then it just becomes a story.
That's true. That's good.
Okay, so we're gonna go to the second part of our program now where it's your turn. Come up to the mic, you can ask questions. It can be on the subject which we discussed this evening, it could be on any subject. But one thing which I do say is that if you're involved in a lawsuit, if you're involved in a case, do not say any personal information. You're being recorded. It's confidential
That's right.
and it's personal. We'll have a time if you want to speak with one of us, talk one-on-one. And again, you know, if you're annoyed with your adversary, this is not your time to go and just to curse them out or say some things. You know, you don't have to, you can make a point. Instead of mentioning the person's name, you can say Mr. X or Ms. Y, you know, you don't have to mention names.
That's right.
All right, that's what we do. All right, thank you.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, yeah, so hi, my name is Rachel Cyprian, and I've been here several times. I've called the National Action Network or Reverend Sharpton's radio station. I've been on Pix 11 News, the New York Times. We're having a big problem in Brooklyn right now. And it is deed theft. And it's mainly affecting Black people.
Mm.
We're losing our homes in droves. And we've since formed several coalitions. Mine is the Black Homeowners Preservation Coalition. We have Stop Deed Theft, Save Our Homes.
Mm.
And the stories are getting more and more horrific. The amount of Black people that are losing homes. It's
Mm.
not just losing a home. It's losing generational wealth. It is dehumanizing. It is such betrayal. It is disgusting that you own your home and someone can come in and take your home. And we're in front of the Brooklyn DA's office every Wednesday, further dehumanizing us. We demand that the district attorney speak with us and meet with us. And Letitia James, everyone's ducking us. No one wants to talk to us because what we're realizing is that this is a big criminal enterprise. A lot of people are involved. And we don't care about that because what we do want to keep is our homes and we're not giving up. We're keeping our home. What we're experiencing right now in Brooklyn is Tulsa in 2025.
Mm.
Because every time Black people are getting ready to make that turn and have generational wealth and have security, someone comes in and swipes it. And we're finding that the judges are involved, lawyers are involved, investors are involved. They're all in bed with each other. We're in court. We were in court on Monday with a comrade, someone in the coalition, Kamala Sharrington. Her father was put in a conservatorship. He has 5 children. He's of sound mind. He's put in a conservatorship that wants to sell his home, his brownstone in Bed-Stuy that's been in the family for 60 years.
Mm.
What? We had another woman who married a man and for whatever reason put his name on her deed. And then, you know, a divorce ensued and he wanted his share of the house. She offered to buy him out The judge told him she had to sell her house. All these insane things. It sounds so unbelievable, but it is happening right here in America, in Brooklyn.
The district attorney in Kings County, Eric
Eric Gonzalez
Good man.
is not,
Are you
he's,
telling me the district attorney is not taking this seriously?
he's not taking it seriously. He's not answering our calls. He refuses to meet with us. We're standing in front of the Brooklyn DA's office, 350 J Street, every single Wednesday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. We call an hour of power because we are demanding answers. We are demanding justice. That's why I'm here tonight, the House of Justice. We're looking for attorneys. We're looking to start a class action lawsuit. We want to bring a lawsuit against the Brooklyn DA's office, the Attorney General's office, NYPD, because whom are often weaponized against us. I've been arrested about 8 times in my own home. The end of this year will be 28 years I'm in my home and I'm being robbed, not at gunpoint, but by people in black robes. And it is disgusting. And we're not going for it. We're not going to allow history to repeat itself. I'm not going to lose my home.
That's right. Thank you.
Thank you very much for bringing this to everyone's attention.
Yeah. That's good.
Yes. Anyone who wants to speak can line up, please.
Okay, good.
You
You got it. You got it.
Just try to talk to you about crime. So you can understand what you're saying.
I grew up in the Bronx. My name is Teresa Lynn Harvey. I've been in Harlem for 7 months. I'm like, if anybody got a gun, shoot me dead. I'm dead.
Stay on issue, please.
I've been in Harlem for 7 months. I lived in the Bronx and Parkchester for 21 years. Then I had to move to Brooklyn for 2 years. I've been in Harlem 7 months. I said it again. Everybody got a gun, shoot me dead.
What type of help do you want? What kind
I
of?
want a lawyer. I want to sue Riverton Square. I want to sue 25th Precinct. I want to sue 123rd Precinct. I want to sue Harlem Hospital. I want to sue the Bronx 180 something street. What's that hospital? I can't even remember. I'm so mad. I want to sue Bronx Lebanon. I was born there. They call it Bronx Care now. I want to sue them.
Let's talk to you privately after
Thank
the
All right.
crisis team. Thank you for sharing. Thank you.
But Deborah, you have to be-
I'm sorry. No. I didn't mean to.
How you doing? If a pro se litigant put a note issue in, what's the probability of him going through or the judge allowing him to do what you guys demonstrated here tonight?
Yeah, you have a right. If you're a pro se litigant and you've filed your note of issue, which puts the case to the trial calendar, you have the right to do jury selection and to do jury selection on your own. The judge may impose some instructions or maybe appoint an advisor to kind of help with the little technicalities, but you can do it yourself. And hopefully this was helpful for you tonight. Hopefully you had some good experience. Good luck.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. I had a question, okay. I had a question related to what's going on with a lot of the residents in our housing developments. In our housing developments, with this RAD PAC program, essentially just a program that allows the night shift facilities to be converted to private entities that can actually mortgage these properties off now after owning. And this is the scope of all the housing in New York City is going through this transition. In fact, 50% has been converted already.
Wow.
And this is all happening under
Public housing?
Public housing.
To private ownership?
Correct. It's you have two options. You can either go to a trust which is Section 9. That's the options that they're putting out there, that you can form a trust, and the trust is essentially owned by the developers. And they come together in a consortium to purchase the property and manage. And it's hurting a lot of residents. It's called the rental demonstration program. They did this to try and improve the housing stock by getting investor to come in and put money.
I understand.
That was the concept, but however, it's not being handled that way now. Many residents are in the shelters right now who were in housing. They're being kicked out. Rents are being jacked up in order to attract new tenants. Yes, lighter and brighter. And what they're trying to do is replace a lot of our low income. Yes.
What does elected officials have to say?
I have gone to Albany. I have spoken with Letitia James' office. I've spoken with Hoku's office. And they advised that, and which I've been doing since, I've formed a nonprofit organization, and I've been helping these entities to actually form something called an RMC, which is some kind of designation that has been lost in our code. But what it means is that residents have the right to manage their own property, even if you don't own it.
That's great.
That's good.
As a resident management corporation, now we're knowing that you actually can form a group. You guys come together as a board and you can request that
Sounds
the
like that's
government
the
take that.
perfect antidote to.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm surprised this is going on, that they're
Shocking.
selling,
Yeah, it's crazy.
privatizing public housing.
Yes, they're eliminating public
Keep
housing.
doing what you're doing.
Rat Pack, look it up, RADPACT, and everybody
you.
keep
Thank
resisting.
you.
Thank you.
That's important information. Thank you.
That's good. Fixing it up and charging. It's crazy.
Hi, my nephew works as a defense contractor in Washington DC. He's had that job for the last 15 years. He called me the other day, almost in tears, saying that Pete Hegseth wants to establish a new law whereby men in the military must be clean shaven. A lot of Black men have problems with ingrown hairs in their beard that requires them to wear a beard. And Hegseth is saying you can have treatment for a year. After that, if you have not dealt with the problem, you will be separated from the military.
That's good. That's an easy one, because that's going to be subject to a lawsuit. And that's a decision that's going to be, there's religious implications, and people have facial hair for religious reasons, religious beliefs. And right now, the chief or the defense secretary is not going to be the defense secretary forever. And
That's
that
right.
policy either will or will not be rescinded in court, and the court will decide whether or not he has the authority to do that. So
Okay.
hopefully that's the way it'll play out.
Okay,
Good
thank
luck.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. Okay,
My favorite juror, yes.
my issue is also a housing issue. I've been in my rent stabilized apartment. Last month was 20 years. For the past 8 years, I have been harassed and some unbelievable things that have happened. I have gone to my elected officials. I've even written to President Trump. That's how serious I am about
I
getting
don't
some
think any
help.
president's gonna respond to you.
He responds.
Good.
They respond.
Here's my suggestion.
That's just how
Here's
serious
my
it's gotten.
suggestion. Seriously,
Mhm.
document it as best you can.
I have a folder
Okay,
to stay.
keep documenting it, because at some point, you're gonna have a hearing, or you're gonna have a forum in which you're gonna wanna expose this. You wanna have the facts in front of you to expose. it. Okay.
I actually went to housing court on the 2nd. The landlord did not sign for their summons to appear.
Right.
No one appeared.
I want to hear it.
HPD did not appear. No one was there.
Keep pressure
So
on
I don't know what to
This-
do.
In politics, the expression is the squeaky wheel gets the grease, meaning the more noise you make, the more attention you're gonna get. All right, so
Okay.
I implore you to keep fighting, keep fighting.
I am.
Good luck, Karen.
Thanks.
Hi, good evening. I moved into an HFDC, and about 2 weeks after moving into it, the apartment caught on fire.
Oh, wow.
Thank God I had insurance, but 2 years there, my insurance company offered to, do the repair and so on. But they refused to give my HDFC the blueprint. They said they wanted to do it.
Right.
And since the insurance was taking care of it, I didn't hear anything thereafter.
I don't know what the rules are there. I'm not sure what the rules are, but it sounds to me like the insurance company is gonna have to let HFDC kind of quarterback this thing. And have
Yeah,
it
but
handle it.
yes, but they waited 2 years. It's not that they're telling me that they didn't receive any payment or anything like that, but they suing me.
They're suing you, okay?
Yes, the insurance company
Right.
Oh, wow.
is suing me. And I want to know what I
You have
can
the
do.
papers with you today?
Yes, I
All right,
do.
I'll talk to you privately. when we
Thank
finish
you.
this.
Thank you.
Of course.
Hi, good night. I am here because 2 years ago, my house was wrongly taken away. No help, no one wants to help me. I wrote an article and reaching out for help, no attorneys will help me. I had an attorney, I spent like 60,000, he was disbarred, and no one else can help me to get my house back. What are the steps I need to take to do that?
I have to get a little more information. We'll talk to you privately. Why don't you speak to Mr. Russell when we break and see if we can help you? Okay, I'm so sorry.
Yes, thank you.
My name is Melvin Story. First and foremost, I want to thank you guys for coming out.
Pleasure. Thank you.
All right. I want to go back to the scenario about the jury.
Sure.
And your client. During the investigation, I'm pretty sure it would have been an extensive investigation. What if we come up with evidence that this was a drunk driver, that his insurance was spattered all over the place, he was in an unregistered vehicle? What happens then?
Good questions. First of all, the judge, these are things that the lawyers would usually handle outside the presence of the jury. For instance, whether if the defendant was drunk, there's actually case law. It's unbelievable to me. There's case law that prevents a jury from knowing that information because it would be prejudicial. It has no bearing on, well, maybe not drunken, but whether the driver has a driver's license. That's another good example. A lot of times driver doesn't have a license, and if you bring that out, it's reversible error. Courts will reverse that finding because they say that's prejudicial. So these are all issues that if it comes out, will be handled outside the presence of the jury with the judge, and the judge will decide whether or not the jury can hear that. And then lawyers will make an exception and we'll spin it however we can, whether it helps us or hurts us. But these are good questions that don't always get to the jury because the judge may say it's not for the jury to hear. That's not relevant.
So in essence, the little boy that was chasing the ball actually got hit by a drunken driver, insurance splattered, no license, and it wouldn't be his actual fault.
That's what trials are for, to determine that, to determine the fault.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure. And by the way, I don't represent this guy. I represent people, but there's someone whose job it is. And I respect the process. I respect that they have a job to do as well. And, it's not always a great job. Sometimes I prefer being on the plaintiff side. I prefer representing people and companies, but there are people who do both, and that's okay. But thank you. Thanks for your inquiry.
Once again, thank you guys for showing up.
All right, that's time for one more.
Hi, my name is Kinsley Ezuko. I traveled from London to attend this meeting. I was here first on the 19th, 4 days ago. And I went back to London on the 21st. When I heard there would be this meeting, I flew back again this morning to attend to see what is happening here. Currently, I applaud you. I thank you guys dearly. I went to law school in United Kingdom myself, and I did 14 years pro bono. I did LLB in
Tell the
school.
members of the audience the difference
They,
between barrister and solicitor.
yeah, in the UK, if you want to be a barrister, you go through the bar, you take the bar exam. If you want to be a solicitor, you do everyone does the LLB, or you can also do the BA and then convert to do law, either to go to law school to be a solicitor, or to go through the bar and take the bar exam and become a barrister. But I think here you only have
Right, it's only the bar exam.
yeah, only the bar exam.
Barristers are those who go to
Yes.
court and argue. And
Yes,
does
yes.
everyone wear wigs? They still do
They
that?
still do that in the UK, but I after my graduation, I decided to go into business.
Great.
I have my business in East Asia. But what brought me here again? So I understand, the amount of work that you are doing here pro bono. My heart is really warm to be here to see what you're doing.
We believe in trying to be of service and make a difference in the community.
We don't have this kind of thing in the United Kingdom. At this moment, I'm doing a round the world tour to 170 countries.
Wow.
I'm visiting 260 cities. This is the 89th country, United States, that I've been to. And in New York is the 152nd country, city that I have visited. Another thing that brought me here is about the case that I brought against the United Kingdom government in the United Nations.
I see the shirt there, I think.
Yes, yes.
Let's do this.
Yes.
Let's talk offline.
Yes.
We probably shouldn't discuss it. We're being
Yes,
recorded.
yes.
Let's talk privately.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
And,
I would like, thank you so much. I just wanted to say thank you so
Okay,
much for
thank
what
you.
you're doing
Thank you.
for the community.
you.
Thank you.
Wait, one more question, that's it, we done.
Hi, how you doing? I just have a general question. If you had a case in the Supreme Court, like say 10 years ago,
How many years ago?
10,
10 years ago.
and the same plaintiff you want to bring back to court, do you have the right to reopen that case?
Well, when you say the case for 10 years, what is the status of the case? Was
It's
it
the sa-
dismissed or is just sitting there stagnant?
The plaintiff never showed, so I guess that would be dismissed, correct?
What will happen is generally speaking, after a case is filed, we have what's called the discovery process, whereby the plaintiff will make certain demands upon the defendant. The defendant makes certain demands upon the plaintiff, and ultimately it'll go to court. There'll be a preliminary conference. The judge will come up with an order requiring both parties to testify at examinations before trial. Many times a plaintiff, whether the plaintiff may disappear, maybe the attorney died, or just the case gets thrown in the back burner, and essentially at that particular point, nothing happens. What will happen at that point is a defendant's attorney will go to the court and will serve a notice on the plaintiff's attorney to get the case moving within 90 days. If they don't do anything within 90 days, the defendant's attorney then will make a motion to the court asking that the case be dismissed or failing to prosecute. That's what the defendant's attorney will do. So I take it you're a defendant, someone is suing you?
No,
You're a plaintiff?
well, I'm the one that brought them to court, so.
You're the one that what?
I'm the one that brought them to court.
You brought them to court, so you're the plaintiff. Okay, so you have an attorney.
No, I did it on my own.
You did it on your own.
Well, my question is this, you stated that when the other party do not come to court, they don't, in my case, they dismissed the case.
Your case was dismissed.
Yeah, it was in my favor,
Well,
to
when
the
you say,
fact.
meaning that the case was dismissed, well, with respect, there was a default against the defendant.
For not showing up.
For not showing up,
That's
okay. So now you're the plaintiff, you have a default against the defendant. Do you have any papers with you? I can take a look at it.
No, this is what my question is to you, is that 10 years ago, I had put a lawsuit against a person. And it went in my favor. The judge cleared it in my favor, so it was dismissed. Now, the same people I want to bring back again. Is it possible for me to reopen that same case? Because it's the same situation.
Was the case dismissed or it just was sitting on the side?
10 years ago, it was dismissed.
It was dismissed.
Mhm.
All right, when you say dismissed, they dismissed it not against you, a default against the defendant.
Correct.
Chances are, when I hear things like that, it seems to me as if, and I could be wrong without taking a look at it, but it appears as if perhaps you brought a lawsuit against someone. They ignored it. You went to court, you got a default against them. So when that happens, then you have the right thereafter to put the case on the trial calendar, and it's called an inquest.
Again, that same case, correct?
You get a judgment.
I don't have to open up and start all over again.
You have to take a look. That's why I can't say for sure, because if you give me your index number, I can tell you in 10 minutes.
Because that's where the problem comes about. And that I would discuss with you.
Discuss it with me in private. What happens is you'll give me the index number and I can check the court e-filing to see what's going on in this case. What county was it?
This is against the,
No, what county? Manhattan? New York County?
HPD, yeah.
But here in New York County, right?
Right, in New York City.
All right, 10 years ago. All right, so
Yeah, yeah, this was happening with HPD.
that's fine.
So it's like it's reoccurring again, like the same
Let me
situation.
take a look at the index number. I'll see the status.
Okay.
That's the best thing to do.
I see, that's where the problem coming at with the index number. When
Well,
I
you-
tried to do, because I'm asking you this question because I went to do this. And my response from them that they can't do that. So that's why I asked you, is it possible? They said they was not able to do that. And they would say, they said they was not able to find anything in the system. And that between me.
And
and
you
the
never
person-
had an attorney? You did this pro se on your own?
Right, I did it on my own back
Let me
then.
speak to you during the breaks. I'd like to see. the
And all the
papers.
documents just disappeared. And I'm like, it doesn't seem right to me.
I want to talk to you during the break, okay? All right. Anybody else have?
One last question, Attorney
Go ahead.
Joe Smelkin. So, I don't know, well, I think a few of us have been to court or been asked to be a part of the jury. I went to the, Jordan Neely case. And when they were picking out the jury, the lawyer brought up the fact that the jury did not reflect the percentage of diversity in New York City. To which the judge then said that the jury selection did not need to reflect the diversity or demographic of that in New York City. And they went ahead with that case. Once I saw the jury selection, I kind of felt that it did not matter how it was going to go, because at the end of the day, the jury that was sitting there could not sympathize with the lived experience of Jordan Neely. And so the question is then, I think 1/3 of Black men are turned away from being able to be jurors in the courtroom. And we know that being a part of the jury is our voice and our power. So if we're turned away, what can we do to take power in our hands to be able to judge our own community members and be participants? People say that, hey, black people and brown people don't want to be a part of the experience. But what I saw in that courtroom wasn't that people weren't called of color, but that they were turned away. Matter of fact, some of the jury members even look like Daniel Penny.
It did. Yeah.
Good question. Let me tell you what happens. When you pick a jury, whether it's civil or criminal, the attorneys have what's called preemptory challenges, where they can challenge for whatever reason they want, except race, national origin, protected classes. Now, many times, if I am picking a jury and I have, say, an Asian client, and I see that my adversary is challenging every other potential Asian jurors, I'm going to bring that to the judge's attention, and I'm going to make an application. It's called a Batson, B-A-T-S-O-N application. There's a Supreme Court case, Batson against the state of Kentucky, where an individual cannot, and I'm just going to make it real simple now, you can't challenge someone solely on race or things of that nature. And if you think that your adversary is bouncing individuals based upon race, religion, protected classes to try to get a different type of jury, you bring that to the judge's attention, and the judge at that particular point is going to make various rulings. I had this before many times. And my adversary came up with some lame excuses. Well, this one particular person, he wasn't paying attention in the room. I said, Judge, that's not so. Or he said, for instance, well, this other individual, his mother was a plaintiff. And I said, well, his father was a defendant. What difference did it make? So they come up with some sort of lame excuses. The point of the matter is, when you're representing a party, if you see that your other side is resorting to these dirty tricks by excusing someone like that, you bring it to the court's attention. It's called a Batson, BATSON challenge. That's what you do. Right. Sure. Okay. Yes, sir.
Oh, you got one question?
Okay.
You don't get to have a question. You already had, it's one question per person, right? Come on.
Yeah, right.
But I'm gonna say this, blessed are the brief, all right?
Come on, what's on your
I'm
mind?
holding the mic.
Yes, sir. My question is pretty quick. I just invented an algorithm that's pretty cool and everybody wants it.
That's a comment, that's not a question. What's the question?
I have a question.
In conclusion.
The question is, trying to phrase between prior art and an IP, and I'm wondering, is there a way to do both?
I guess you'd have to speak with some attorney that handles maybe intellectual property or things of that nature. I do know someone that does intellectual property. I know absolutely nothing about this stuff. I'm from the old school, So, but I know it's out there, and I know that there are attorneys that do that. I'll speak to you during the break, and then I'm going to give you the name of somebody. Okay?
That's good.
Thanks. Okay.
Are we gonna get a chance?
We have any other questions? Anybody else? Anybody online have any questions?
No.
We're
Yeah,
okay? Okay, listen. Thank you very much for coming here today. Now, I will ask you one question. I'd like to ask this question of the group. Raise your hand if you learned something, anything today, just one thing. That's great. That's great. So was it worth your while to come today?
Yes.
Yes? All right. Now, will you come back again in October?
That's
Yes.
right.
And when you come back in October, will you bring a friend with you? Okay. Okay.
Hold on one second. They're gonna come, they're gonna.
Okay, now,
Now, I know we had a couple of questions, and it was mostly around, for lack of a better term, real estate. I hate when people say landlord tenant. I like to elevate it and say real estate. Unfortunately, some attorneys that are normally on our panel that may handle that are not here.
Mm-hmm.
So if we give you a referral, it is not that we don't want to be bothered. It is that we have lawyers that specialize
That's
in
right.
those areas.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, as lawyers, we have this thing called malpractice. So we can't really go into areas of law that we are not knowledgeable of.
That's right.
So it was almost like an ear, eye, and throat doctor trying to do surgery on your leg. You don't have the expertise, so you shouldn't be doing it. I just don't want anyone to leave disappointed that, oh, I spoke to Mr. Smelkin or I spoke to Mr. Russell and he just gave me another number. There is a reason for that because those attorneys are able to filter out what the issue may be. Okay? I also want to let everyone know that, yes, it's going to be hard to find attorneys in the real estate area for two reasons. One, when people look at the law, let me just explain one other thing, and this is an additive to whatever you learned today, all right? There is nothing in this world that's not a business. And I think we need to really understand that. There's nothing in this world that's not a business. Education is a business. You pay for school, they give you education. Even free schooling is not free. You pay your taxes, you get the education. So it is not surprising that attorneys or very few attorneys practice in areas of real estate for the private person, not for the institution, but for the private person. Institution is fine because the institution can pay the check, can cut the check for attorneys to survive on to do that type of work. Oftentimes, individuals cannot. So you might get rejected before you find the right one. That is law and doing business. It's almost like the restaurant. Everybody looks at the front, Menu is great, food is great. Nobody looks at the back office. How many people have to get terminated? Who's cutting the food? Who's doing all those other things? Same thing with law. You try to do as much as you can while you're on this earth and try to do good. But there is a back office, and the back office says, I took 20 cases free this year. If I take 25, I won't be around next year. So I just want us to have that fair understanding. So, because in particular today, since I'm here, I've heard a lot of questions in the real estate area. And I know those attorneys are not here. So although Mr. Smelkin and I may listen to you, we may just say, hey, look, call this person.
Yeah.
So they can give you the proper advice. Am I correct?
Yes, sure.
Okay,
They can
so,
talk to me about the real estate.
right.
people.
So that's what I want to let you know before we break up,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can we speak online?
Okay, well, thank you very much, Patrice.
That was good.
We'll be back here, not here, but October 30th.
Yeah.
The last legal night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll see.
are the
All
people
right, and,
online gonna get a chance to
We'll
say
stay in
anything?
touch, okay?
And real estate and housing, they can talk to me.
Any questions, real estate, housing, I want you to speak to Ms. Perry, Patrice Perry, okay? And I'll
We have
stick around if
statements
anybody has some
online.
questions, or if you want to speak amongst yourselves, that's fine. And again, thank you very much for coming by tonight.
Thank you.
Take care.
Is anybody gonna talk to us online?
I know you say you was coming. How you doing? You have real estate issue?
Hello. Are we gonna get a chance?
Now, what did we talk about? Remember the topic?
Because other states are stealing black people's property too.
Alfred Black, right?
Miss Patrice,
All right,
are we
let's
gonna
set
get a
some
chance to
time.
speak?
I'm gonna call you next week. Tell me your number.
One moment, Kimberly. She's handling the people there, but we're gonna definitely
Did you
get
ever
to you
send
right
me
now.
any
One
email
moment.
or
I'm so
anything
sorry
about
about that.
Okay.
You never did. I'm gonna give you my email to send it to me. And I'll call you. Call me back next week about maybe Tuesday.
What you gonna do this morning? What do you mean? You got questions?
No, we done.
We're done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I apologize and thank you for your patience. We're just waiting for someone there on site to respond.
Okay.
Yeah, cause Patrice dropped off. And the lawyer dropped off too.
Miss Kimberly, I'm sorry. Anyone else who has a question, if you can just call the House of Justice tomorrow at 1-877-626-4651. I apologize as I was waiting as well with you all. But I'm not a crisis. I'm not in the crisis department, so I can't legally take what you have to say. I apologize as you waited for the whole 2 hours. And the process is they were supposed to come to you online now. I'm not sure what's going on. They can definitely hear us, but they're not responding. So all I can do is ask you to please call 1-877-626-4651 tomorrow after 9:30 p.m. and before 6 p.m. And you can ask for the crisis department. And I apologize again.
What was that number again?
1-877-626-4651. Again, that's 1-877-626-4651.
Okay.
Thank you, and sorry about that.